Hello. I'm gonna tell you a quick funny story. I actually already filmed this whole entire episode, and then because I am so smart with technology, I actually deleted the whole entire episode when I was editing it. Anyone who knows me actually knows I don't know how to use technology, so I, yeah. And it probably honestly comes to no surprise or shock to anyone that knows me. So I guess this is how I'm going to start off my podcast. And this isn't really a funny story at all, but I guess I should just get into it. So, welcome to the Hope Podcast, aka Hold On, Pain Ends podcast, hosted by me, Eden Hope. I'm starting this podcast actually for a lot of different reasons, but I do want to just start off by saying thank you so much if you're coming here to support me and listen to me talk about mental health. Mental health has definitely been a huge part of my life, and because of that, I just want to say I really appreciate your support from the bottom of my heart. It definitely means a lot to me, and I also want to give a huge shout out to my parents who've been so supportive in me starting this podcast, as well as my best friend Amy and my one friend. He is the reason I even know how to use technology, even though I deleted my first episode. Shout out to him. He knows who he is, and I'm just not even gonna say his name because I know it'll bug him, and I'm gonna get a text later being like, Eden. But whatever. Anyway, basically, guess I should just kind of explain a little bit about my podcast. So, throughout my podcast episodes, I'm going to be talking about my mental health and kind of what got me through it and how I coped with it. And then in between me talking about my mental health, I'm also going to be bringing on some guests who are going to be talking about a variety of different topics, and some of them will be sharing a little bit about their mental health and their struggles, as well as what got them through it. Basically, one reason why I wanted to start a podcast is because mental health is such an important topic. People should just know that they're not alone with whatever they are going through, and I just wanted to design a platform that is inclusive and is comfortable for people to listen to, and also know that they aren't alone with whatever they may be going through in life. I just want to say that we all have our hardships, we all have our stories, but at the end of the day, the one thing we all share in common is hope. And I feel like with whatever you are going through in life, if you're able to hold on, the pain does end. You know, you don't even have to have mental health. I think that kind of just goes with anything in life. It's totally okay to not be okay. It's okay to have bad days, and I think we should all just recognize that and remember that, you know, you're not alone with whatever you may be going through. So yeah, that's kind of just a little bit about this podcast. I know you can probably hear some background noise, and I do apologize because my brother's playing video games right now, and so he's very loud when he plays those video games. So I do apologize if you can hear him in the background. When I filmed my first video, no one was home, so I didn't have that issue, but I thought I'd just comment on that. But anyway, so basically, I'm just going to kind of explain what made me come up with the name for my podcast. Growing up, I didn't have any emotional support, and I didn't have anyone I could go talk to or that I felt like I could ask for help. And because of that, I had to internalize a lot of trauma, and, you know, I always just felt like I was alone, but there was just a little bit of me that had hope that it would get better, and I just kept holding on. You know, I do want to say that if you are going through anything right now, mental health or not, I just want to say that you're not alone with whatever you may be struggling with. And I hope you know that there is a lot of people out here who are willing to help and willing to listen, as well as there's a lot of great resources out here too that are helpful for whatever you may be going through. And I just really want everyone to know that no matter what, you're not alone. And I hope you know that you're so appreciated and you are so loved by so many people. So I'm going to kind of just get into what exactly led up to me starting this podcast. Basically, about a year ago, I was going through a lot of personal family stuff. Because of that, I kind of just needed an outlet. I started to use my social media as an outlet. I started posting on my social media, expressing how I was feeling. And if you haven't already noticed, I love to post quotes. I go on Pinterest quite a lot, and I will take quotes from Pinterest and I'll repost them on my Instagram. I kind of just did this so that I could just make a highlight for myself and look back at these quotes whenever I was maybe having a bad day or just needed a little reminder. I just started this off for myself originally because I was going through some stuff. Since then, I've actually had a lot of people who started reaching out to me and they started saying how much they liked a quote or how much they appreciated what I was saying or how much they loved what I may have been expressing. Because of that, I never really recognized or realized that maybe the words I was saying or that my content on my Instagram was reaching other people. So I kind of just kept with the quotes and kept posting them. And then in about March this year, 2021, and I emphasize on the 2021 only because I was picking my school classes recently and I could not figure out why I couldn't pick classes for 2020. And then I realized we're in 2021. I know that sounds really goofy, but I am a very goofy person. So that also probably does not come to a surprise for many people. But basically in March this past year, I posted about my mental health and I posted about a tattoo that I had gotten. Since then, I've had a lot of people reach out to me for help, and I've had a lot of people reach out to me to talk about what they may be going through or just to talk to me. And because of that, I wanted to do more than just post a quote on Instagram. Mental health to me is very important, and so I decided that, you know what, I want to do more than just post these quotes. I feel like because I am someone who's very comfortable about talking about mental health and I'm a very open person, and because I do love to talk and everyone knows that, I thought, you know, let's try a podcast. So I started working on this podcast actually quite a long time ago. But I have been procrastinating on it a bit, to be completely honest. And I think that's just because of my anxiety and I'm a bit nervous. So please bear with me. But that's kind of why I've decided to start this podcast. So I guess I'll kind of just get into it and I'll open up a little bit about my mental health and my eating disorder as well as being bullied. Everything I am talking about today, I'm very comfortable talking about and I'm very open about. You know, most of this information is probably not new to anyone who does know me personally. I don't know what else to say with that one, to be completely honest. But I will eventually go into more detail about my mental health and everything that I have been through in my future episodes as part of my mental health segments and episodes. But I guess I'll kind of just, you know, open up a little to this podcast and talk about myself. So I originally moved to Victoria when I was 13 years old, and I moved here for swimming. I used to be a competitive swimmer. I swam at a junior national level for quite a few years. Anyone who is a high performance athlete or an athlete at all, they kind of can understand or relate to the mental struggles you may go through in your sport or just go through in general. The physical sports definitely hit you physically, that's for sure. Especially swimming. A lot of swimmers have some injuries, that's for sure. I will say that. Swimming is definitely a love-hate relationship, and I think most swimmers can definitely agree with me on that one. But when I was about 14, 15 years old, I went through something in swimming, and it kind of just led to me ending up taking off about 9 months of swimming. That's kind of when I just started to go to school and hang out a little bit. I wasn't swimming, obviously, and that's kind of when the bullying really started for me. I mean, I have been bullied most of my life since elementary school, but I would say that the bullying got really bad in high school for me personally. And, I do just want to point out and say that if you ever have been bullied, or maybe you are currently experiencing that, just know that you don't deserve it, and it's not a reflection of who you are as a person. How someone treats you is a reflection of who they are. I do try to look at the bright side. Maybe that person is also going through something themselves, and that's why they feel like they need to act the way they are. But just know that you don't deserve that, and it's not your fault. So don't listen to them. Just know you're better than them. I don't know. Maybe they're jealous of you. But just know that you don't deserve that, and don't listen to the bullies, okay? Bullies just suck. But anyway, so basically the bullying for me got really bad in high school. It got so bad to the point that I did not feel safe or comfortable going to school. And because of that, in grade 10, I ended up taking the majority of my classes online. I ended up converting to online school just because I did not want to go to school and see people, because I just didn't feel safe or comfortable. It sucked, to be completely honest. Bullying does suck. I don't hold anything against anyone ever, but I do want to just say that, we all go through stuff, and bullying, it's not nice to be mean to people for no reason. So just know that it's not your fault if you ever have been bullied, and don't take anything these people say personally, because their opinion really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So I hope you do know that. But yeah, I remember this one day where the bullying was really bad in school. I ended up calling my dad, crying. I knew that there was one way I could get out of here. So I called him and I said, I want to swim. I called him up and I told him that I wanted to start swimming again, because I knew that I was a decent swimmer, and I knew I would be able to get a scholarship so I could get out of town and start fresh and not have to be here anymore. So I ended up getting back into swimming. And looking back at it, maybe I was running from my problems in a sense, but at that time, I thought that that was the best thing for me, and I just really didn't feel comfortable going to school, and so I really wanted to get out of here. Swimming was my way out, and that's kind of why I got back into swimming originally. I went through a lot of mental stuff as well. February of 2018, I was kind of at my lowest point mentally, and I kind of just was in this mindset that I wouldn't live past the age of 18. I had this idea and this plan and this mindset that I just didn't see a future for myself, and I ended up being admitted to the hospital, where I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder and anxiety disorder. Since being out of the hospital and over the last few years, I have really learned that the most important thing in our life is our mental health. It's totally okay to not be okay, and you just need to remember that you're not alone with whatever you're going through, but also just know that it's okay to take days off. It's okay to just relax, because I think we should just remember to be kind to ourselves. After getting out of the hospital, I actually ended up graduating a year late of high school. A lot of people made their assumptions as to why I graduated a year late. They made up rumors. I never really felt like I needed to explain that to anyone, because I knew the truth and I knew my story. But basically, the bullying was really bad in high school and I didn't feel comfortable, but I knew that I did want to finish high school. And because of that, I had decided to stay back a year. And it's not because I failed, but it was purely my choice because I wanted to do it in the least stressful way so I could just focus on my mental health. And I don't regret it at all. I think it's probably one of the best decisions I've ever made for me personally, and I'm very happy that I did it because I actually ended up making some great friends. And so I guess I'll just kind of talk a little bit now about kind of after high school. So like I said earlier, this past year I went through a lot of stuff. In the fall, I ended up working out. I got back into working out. I started off with doing just 5K, 10K walks, all that fun stuff. Because according to me, going on a run without any training to beat your dad is fun. Actually, it's not fun. And I did not beat him because running is a lot harder than you would think. So anyone who is good at running or can run, I envy you very much. I'm very jealous because I wish I was good at running. It's a great thing to be able to do. But anyway, so in January this past year, I ended up getting a gym pass at the beginning of this year, and it was great. I loved going to the gym, and I started to go regularly. And then in February, I started to kind of go hardcore for myself. And I'm gonna just say, I know from previously being an athlete, me going to the gym and me doing my 5K runs or whatever I'm doing does not compare to anything that you guys are doing, because you guys work your asses off, and I do know that. But for me, at this point in my life, I was going hardcore for myself. And I was doing cardio twice a day, and it was great. And I kind of started to do intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is awesome if that's what your goals are and that's what you're doing with your health plan. That's great. But the intermittent fasting ended up to me actually not eating. So I stopped eating. The not eating ended up to me developing bulimia nervosa disease, which is a type of eating disorder. And in the month of February, I actually ended up losing over 25 pounds in under a month. I was at my lowest weight. And I do really want to emphasize on my lowest weight because every single one of us, our lowest weight and our heaviest weight is completely different for all of us because we are all built different. What someone else's heaviest weight or lightest weight isn't going to compare to someone else because we're all different and we're all unique. But for me personally, I was at my lowest. I just was very low energy. I felt very depleted because I wasn't eating. And a lot of people have actually asked me about what I eat and about my fitness. And I just want to say that, food is fuel. It's very important to remember to fuel our bodies because we do only have one body and we should take care of ourselves. Remember that we need to be kind to ourselves. If you do suffer from body image or body dysmorphia, just know that you are so beautiful. I know, especially with social media in today's society, it can be really hard not to compare ourselves on the internet, but just know it's not realistic and you shouldn't ever compare yourself to someone else just because you're beautiful just the way you are. Body image is a huge thing, and I feel like we just need to remember that at the end of the day, no one is going to remember you for what you look like on the outside. They're just going to remember you for who you are on the inside. So just be kind, spread positivity, and just be the best version of yourself. And, love yourself for who you are because you are extraordinary and you're beautiful, and your size does not define you. I feel like we all need to just remember that at the end of the day. our bodies isn't what's all about us, you know. I think personality has a huge thing to do with who we are as people. Just don't listen to anyone. Don't compare yourself to anyone. Just love yourself for who you are. Be who you are for yourself. Don't worry about it. I mean, if you do want to lose weight and that is your goal, just do it in a healthy way is my best advice. You know, you can be in a calorie deficit and you're going to lose weight, but just make sure that you trust the process and know that it does take time. And I think that's just the most important thing to remember when we're working out, is to remember that it does take time and it's not going to happen overnight. So just be kind to yourself, take it easy on yourself, and just enjoy what you're doing and enjoy the process. A lot of people do ask me what I eat, and I'm gonna be completely honest. I eat whatever I want. Now I do, at least. And my parents can definitely vouch for me on this one. My mom will come home from Costco with a couple bags of Boom Chicka Pop. It's probably my favorite food. It is probably my favorite food. And I eat them like no tomorrow. I literally eat it before anyone else can have it, and I definitely get in trouble for it. So just eat whatever you want and just love yourself for who you are, and just know that you're not alone. So basically, I guess this is kind of just my first podcast episode. I'm gonna wrap it up, but I just want to say, just stay true to who you are. Be your most authentic self, because I think that we're all different in a unique way, and I think that's what makes us all very cool. And just don't listen to what other people say. Also, just know that you don't ever have to explain yourself or what you're going through. You don't really owe anyone an explanation, but also know that you are loved and you are appreciated and you are so worthy. And you know, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, so I am very excited to be releasing my very first podcast episode this month, just because mental health does mean a lot to me. I am very passionate about it, and I just want to say, if you ever do feel like you are alone, just know that there is a lot of resources out here, and there's a lot of people out here who are willing to help you. So just remember that you aren't alone, and with whatever you are going through in life, if you're able to hold on and have hope, the pain will end. And I think that's just a little something that we should remember with whatever we may be going through in life. So yeah, if you're able to stick around for the whole thing and listen to my brutal public speaking skills, shout out to you. If you haven't already noticed, I do have a speech impediment, and I don't even know what I was saying earlier, and it kind of shocked me. But I hope my speech impediment wasn't too stuttery, I guess. I don't know what to say about that one, but I hope you enjoyed my first podcast episode, and if you did listen, thank you so much, and I really appreciate your support. I guess hopefully I don't delete this one, but other than that, thank you so much again. And you know, my next episode, I actually have a guest coming on, so it's going to be my very first guest. I am very excited to have this person on. Please stay tuned for that episode, and I really hope you did enjoy my first episode. I actually don't really know how I'm gonna end this, so I guess maybe I should just, you know, end it. But yeah, thank you, and I will work on my stutter and my public speaking skills for the next time. So thanks again for going through that if you did. Anyway, bye.